Hi, it's Cassie Oelberg in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, and we are getting ready to start the next series of Traveling Through Sketches the Fabulous Way. Now, we just finished Noteworthy, which I found was extremely on par because Creative Memories just went last chance with the Fast Fab pages, and the sellout has happened. And so I moved on just in time. So that's super exciting for me. It makes me feel like I'm right on track. Anyway, I finished the last trip, and so we are moving on to the next fun. So you don't have to use travel things to make a travel album. This is the Springtime Soiree collection that we're going to be using. Of course, throughout the series, I may throw a little bit of other things in if there's a special theme, but for the most part, it will be Springtime Soiree the whole way through. I love how Creative Memories makes the Fast and Fab pages, which save you time and money by already having some backgrounds there. And then they have papers and mats and stickers and all kinds of beautiful things to match. So let's just go over to the desktop and I'll show you what I'm talking about if you haven't been here before. And if you have, well then great. You'll know exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So this is sketch 1 from September. And if you have not done the CM virtual crop, I highly recommend it. So this is the sketches. This is the first 2 that they came out with for last weekend. And what they do is they drop 4 sketches. They give you some samples and ideas, and then you take it and run with it. And then what I do is each week I do a different sketch. And I mix it up a little. I show you, first of all, how to build it on Fast to Fab pages, which saves you time and money. And second of all, I just show you some tips on how to make it work. So we are doing sketch 1, super fun. You'll notice mine's a little bit different. I needed my pictures to be taller, and they will be taller on the other side too. And I did my frames. So what I did was I used this Fast to Fab page. See, this Fast to Fab page turned into this. So what I did was I chose a Fast to Fab page that had a bottom border because we were covering up the whole bottom. So it didn't matter that it was already there. And I didn't really want to use that border. So that was fine. And then this way I could use this as my background paper. So this was already here and already pretty, and it was exactly what I wanted. So let's go ahead and see how to make that work. The first thing that I needed was a 1/2 inch frame to go all the way around here. Now, if you have not done frames before, they are super, super simple. Just going to move these things out of my way for a second. And I used the molten lava paper. If you did not get this, you should find some. This is absolutely stunning. I got a ton of it because I love it so much. So I'm just going to show you some things with lava, and it goes so nicely with the Springtime Soiree. So anyway, we're going to do this 1/2 inch frame. So I'm going to come over here to 1/2 inch. Right there. And remember, when you're measuring these small things, you want to go all the way top and bottom. So I'm lining it up at the bottom too, just to make sure that I'm getting it. So then I'm going to bring my cut blade, which is on the side, down to 1/2 inch. It is 1 inch. I'm going to have to remeasure that because I want to show you this. It's 1 inch between where it actually finishes cutting and starts cutting and the beginning of the blade. So when I put this in here, I'm going to bring it over to 1/2 inch very carefully, measuring all the way at the top and all the way at the bottom. And then I'm going to bring this down to 1.5 inches. That puts my cut at 1/2 inch. Now, when I come down, I want to come to 12.5. But if you look at this, there isn't really a 12.5. So the best way to do that is to look at the top to stop at 10.5, because the back side is also 1 inch, and then that will stop me at the 11.5. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm just going to carefully bring it down, and I'm watching the top. So there's 10 and there's 10.5. Okay. And then I just rotate it and I just keep doing the same thing. 1/2 inch, very carefully measure top to bottom. Bring it down to the 1/2 inch cut, 1.5 there, and do the same thing. Bring it down and then watch for the 10.5.
Just go all the way around like that. Super, super simple. I love making frames because they're so easy. And then you have that whole inside of the paper left to do something fun with, especially this molten lava. It is so pretty. And I forgot to stop, and that was silly. That's okay. I'm going to show you what to do when you make a mistake. I started talking, and I am yapping away, and so now I'm just going to still measure over to my 1/2 inch. So come down to my 1.5. I'm going to make sure I actually stop this time. Go, Cassie. And not a big deal. Still have my inside. And since I'm taping this down as a frame, sometimes you make little mistakes, and guess what? It's scrapbooking, and it's only paper. So super easy to fix. Now this is where I don't use my mini a lot anymore because repositionable tape has taken over my life. But when I'm putting down a frame like this, it works out really well to use my mini. And we're just going to make sure we put some tape right here on the edges. And once I tape this down, you're not even going to be able to tell that I was yapping away. Have you ever done that at a crop, right? Who hasn't, right? When you're talking, just cut right through what you were doing. And I like to keep those right on my videos because I want people to see that it's not a big deal and you don't have to panic. You don't have to pull out another sheet of paper and start all over again, especially paper that's precious that you can't get more of. So that's that. Here, and as you can see, voila, can't even really tell. So, okay, so now we need another frame. Another frame is going to go right inside of here. See that on the sketch. You can also see it on the page that I am mirroring because I am making a double page spread. So, this out of my way. Bring this in, and now I need to start with an 11 by 11 square because that's what's going to go inside. Because 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch is 1 inch, and 12 minus 1 is 11, and that's how that works. So bring it over to 11 right here. Bring this over to 11 right here. And now we're going to just do that 1/2 inch of frame all over again with slightly different numbers. So bring it over to the 1/2 inch here. There's a nice line that comes all the way down for 1/2 inch. So it doesn't matter that it's not going all the way to the bottom. I can still do top and bottom just like I did before. And now I'm going to bring the front to 1.5, bringing the cut to there. But now I want it to stop at 10.5. So I just need to bring it to 11.5. And then don't forget, if you mess up, it's really not a big deal. I think that's, one of the most important things that you can help people remember in scrapbooking, if you're helping a new friend get started or something, is that it's only paper. It's just supposed to be fun. And if you make a little mistake here and there, it really doesn't matter. You're still going to have beautiful pages. So. I should start doing this as my regularly scheduled mistake. 1/2 inch. Wave it down. And last one. And there we go. So now we're going to bring this back over. And once again, I'm pulling out the mini. And this is my favorite. Use the mini. I could just put it down with my silicone mat and use my repositionable here too if I really wanted to. But it is nice to have different pulp for different tasks, right? So there we go. Put this right in here. It's always fun getting that angle under the camera and taping it down. So fun. See, you're going crooked. Okay. Still crooked. I'll tell you what. It's not repositionable, but that's okay. Okay. So now we're going to add the rest of the fun to the page. So down here, I have 2 photos, and I am covering this up. Remember, that's not part of my layout. So let's grab up the green molten lava. You know, this molten lava has a plain side to it, but I can't even imagine using that one that has this big. Okay, so we've got that, and I need a, let's see, where did my sketch go? Seven. This says I need a 10 by 4, 10 by 4. There we go. Kept that exactly the same, so I can just bring this over, cut it at 4 inches. Save this for something else, and cut it at 10. And this is going to slide right inside here. So super nice. Oops. Use that. I can use this now. And that slides right inside there, and it covers that up. So see, I still get to use this pretty background paper up here, giving me one more paper choice and a paper that's already there. And I still get to do the sketch. So that's super fun. And then next up, I want to put my max for up here. Now I did switch that up a little bit. So I need a 5.5 by 7. So remember, 5.5 is all the way to the edge of your trimmer. Turn it, and by 7. And that is going to go right up here. Now, I did leave myself a little tiny bit of a gap because I didn't have to use up quite so much paper because I'm going to put this right down the center. So I just measured down there and there to leave myself that. And that's going to go right there. So when you're looking at your sketches, just look at what you actually need. So there we go. And now I need my photos. So I've already pulled out some beautiful photos. This worked out super nice. It's the flower show. I meant to bring my photo trimmer over here. I did not. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this one because I'm not going to make you guys wait while I run across the room. Do keep in mind that if you are cutting photos with this blade, it will dull it faster. So I usually have one underneath marked with a P, but I don't even have that right now because I have 2 trimmers and I've got my stuff spread out all over the place. But super smart people would, when you change this blade, mark it with a P, put it underneath your thing, and then that can be whenever you're in a hurry and you don't pack all of your tools, then that is what you would use. Okay, so now I need my 2 photos to go up top, and they are going to be 5 inches tall. So let's see what I'm going to trim off. I love these little blades because we can come down, so I'm going to take just enough off the top that we don't get rid of our feet. So I'm happy with that. And then over here, I'll just take a little tiny bit off the top to get it fit back to 5. And then I am going to make this one 3 inches thick. So I always look at what side I want to get rid of first, and then do the rest from the other side to make my photos exactly what I want. There we go. And now I want this one to be 3.5 by 5. So I am going to cut off some of my sides here. And then I'm going to measure over to 3.5. And then over here, I'm going to need 2 photos to go in the bottom. And those are 3 3/4 by 3.5 and 5 3/4 by 3.5. So the 3.5 is the vertical cut. I'm going to cut off a head if I do that. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring this down, make sure I don't cut off any heads. Look at it a little more. I could have done better. There we go. And then come over here to do the 3.5. 3.5 by 3 3/4. So bring this over and just cut 1/4 of an inch off of the side. And then this one, obviously, we're going to do the 3.5 off the top. And now I can get rid of my thumb's selfie arm there. I need it to be 5 3/4. Perfect. So super, super simple and fun. And I'm going to go ahead and put this here and here. That's me. Oh, goodness. That's why I have to be super, super careful whenever I am using my regular and my repositionable. I am really good at grabbing what I did not mean to grab. That is a problem for me. Okay, and then we're going to put these up top. So you just always want to be careful with that. And I like to use repositionable when putting my photos down because I have a tendency to not measure. And so sometimes I just want to wiggle it a little bit. And that's so much easier to do with your repositionable tape. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my matching border. It's just going to go right down the center here. Again, repositionable for wiggle room. And see, I don't want to cover that head up. Maybe I should cut a little bit more off the bottom, but that's okay. It all works. Actually, you know what? I can tuck it. Tuck right here. Because there is no wrong scrapping. There we go. And now we have this beautiful matching page. I will go ahead and add some writing over here, maybe a sticker or 2, and it will be super fun matching page. Okay, that's it. That was our, so I can leave this out here. That was our lesson for the day. So I hope you had fun, and I hope that you are falling more and more in love with Fast and Fabulous pages every time we get together. So have a great day, and thanks so much for joining me.